Hello and welcome to Prairie Pulse. Coming up a little bit later in the show, we'll hear music from Elisa Corrine. But first, our guest joining us now is Deb Dawson, the president of African Soul American Heart. Thanks for joining us today, Deb.
Thank you, John.
As we get started, tell the folks a little bit about yourself, your background, where you're originally from.
Well, I born and raised in Fargo. My grandparents came here in the early 1900s. My grandfather was mayor of Fargo in the 40s, so I have a long history in this area.
Okay. Now, how did you get involved with issues in the South Sudan?
In 2007, I met one of the Lost Boys of Sudan who was settled here through the Lost Boy Resettlement Program. You know, sort of ironically, they settled a bunch of young men from this very cold part, or this very hot part of the world into this very cold part of the world, and they had to adjust to all of the changes that entail living in a place like this.
Well, you may find out more about that as you tell us your story. Let's talk about African Soul American Heart, because obviously it seems like it'd be an enormous undertaking for you starting this. So tell us about the program and what is it for?
Well, we are a boarding school for orphan girls, and we're located in the largest state in South Sudan, Jonglei State, in a county called Duke County, in a community called Duke Payuel. When we started this program, when I first met Joseph Ecole Makir, the lost boy I was working with, he told me he wanted to help orphans in the village he escaped in 1987. And he thought if he could make a movie and tell people about it, that American people would help. And so I traveled back there with him in 2007 with two other people, a cameraman and Kevin Brooks, who was also our vice president of our board. And we made a documentary called African Soul American Heart. But we came back and it's like, we have a documentary, who's going to help the kids? And so we started in 2008 supporting some of the kids we had met at Kakuma Refugee Camp, Sudanese orphans who had traveled there during the war and had no place to return when the peace agreement was signed in 2000, well, actually before the peace agreement was signed. They had no place to return after the war and no parents. And so we have put 13 kids through boarding school in Kenya, and we still have 8 kids in that program.
Okay, now how is this funded?
You know, we have been a lot of local people in Fargo-Moorhead area throughout North Dakota and across the United States have been very generous with us. So we've raised all the funds independently. We have a 501c3 nonprofit corporation. Okay.
Now, without education, what happens to young girls in South Sudan?
They're married off at puberty. Their value to their families at that point, because there's such extreme poverty everywhere, is the cattle that they bring into the household. And so young girls that are typically not in school, because there's no real history of educating girls. There's not opposition to educating girls there, but there's no history of it. And so they're at puberty, they're married off, and the cattle exchanges hands, and then they start bearing children at a very young age.
Okay. Can you tell me, and I understand you have various phases you've kind of created there.
Well, it's not intentional, but you know, you ask how you get started, and you know, to embark on building a boarding school in a place that the entire country has only 100 miles of paved road, you know, is a fairly large challenge. So I started going back on my own in 2010. Joseph Ecole Makir, the lost boy we were working with, went to work for the government there. And so I went back in 2010 and met with local chiefs and church leaders and so on to see, did they still want school? We particularly wanted to work with orphaned girls because they're the least likely of all girls to go to school. And we felt that if we could build a school and educate 50 girls, a boarding school, so that they would have the time to study and learn the subject matter, that we could succeed at that. So we started in 2011 with an after-school program for 11 orphan girls. In March of 2012, we opened the first phase of our boarding school with 13 girls. And by May of last year, we had 34 girls from 6 villages in the county.
Okay. Now, we talked about the funding, but again, how many people are involved with this to make it happen?
We've got 7 people on our board. We have we do some events. We have a Get Your Panties in a Bunch lunch. We ask people to come and learn about the situation for girls all across South Sudan, which is that they quit school at puberty oftentimes because they have no underwear and no sanitary pads. So women from across the country sew sanitary napkins that are washable that can be reused, and we bring those and underwear supplies and distribute them. Now, part of our program, our older girls travel with our matron and our principal to 3 villages and distribute those products to girls in schools.
Okay. Well, now, as we record this, obviously, probably a few weeks before we're going to air, what's the current situation like in South Sudan?
Well, we are in early January, and mid-December there was perhaps a coup attempt on the government by, a rival leader, the ousted vice president. And since then there has been fighting in a few areas in South Sudan. Juba, the capital city, which is back in control of the government, and Bor, the capital of the state where we're located. So Bor is about 100 miles south of our program, and much of that city has been destroyed. So as we're speaking now, the leaders are in talks in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The international community is trying to do what it can to help the country restore order. But there is some fighting going on in a few areas. Our particular area has been protected. It's safe. We have a lot of goodwill there through our program and also through the John Dow Foundation Lost Boys Clinic, which provides care for people in a 100-mile radius and so on of any ethnic group.
Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, civil war could be on the horizon once again.
Yeah, people are talking about that. I'm hopeful that enough has happened in the country thus far since the peace agreement was signed in 2005 that they won't allow it to get to that point. But of course, my next trip is scheduled for February, and right now that's on hold because there's a U.S. travel warning against going to South Sudan. So I have another trip scheduled for April, so I'm hopeful that I'll be there in April.
How has this mission and this program affected you and your life?
Well, it's transformed my life in every possible way. It's pretty much what I think about when I get up in the morning and when I go to bed at night, because it's a tremendous responsibility, to take something like this on, and then to know that, it's not that I don't have tremendous help, but primarily it's, I'm leading this effort, and so I want to see 50 girls get all the way through school. So our program is primary school. We intend to send our girls to secondary school when they finish. Primary school is through 8th grade here, so to secondary school and beyond to college or trade school, so that they'll have real skills and knowledge that they can bring back to help transform their country and change the lives of their families, themselves, and their communities.
Well, Deb, I understand you've brought a video clip for us to look at.
Yeah, that'll give people a better idea of what it is we are
So
doing.
let's take a look at that right now.
Should I start that over? There's some noisy birds. It's June 2013, and I'm back here for my second time this year visiting Assa. There's been tremendous change since my last visit here. What's your name? Nyanwa?
Nyanwa.
Nyanwa?
Nyanwa.
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 Nyanwa. I'll get it. We began only with girls in the local community, but because we want the program which serves orphan girls with an idea of protecting them from forced marriages, educating them in school subjects and practical life skills, and empowering them to be leaders and give back to their communities. We don't want this only to impact this community. We want it to impact the entire county. So we now have, of our 34 students, we have girls from 6 villages in this county. We finished the dormitory that was under construction when I was here in February. We have built an additional concrete block dormitory. Each of the new dormitories have 4 sets of bunk beds. They call them double-deckers here. and so we can accommodate 8 girls in each of those dormitories.
That is good.
One of the challenges on all of my visits here is the inability to speak to the girls, because though some of them could read in English or write in English, they had little conversational practice and also no confidence to be able to speak English. And on this visit for the first time, we have been able to observe them sitting and chatting with each other in English, trying to kind of one-up each other in terms of what they can say.
The reason why I speak English, I want to practice my ability English to become a good English. That is why I speak it. I told you like this. Why don't you speak your broken English? Because people can laugh. No, if they are laughing at you, they are very happy because you are speaking good English. Not the problem. Say another word. You are a big one. Girl. Like you see your clothes. You are a big power. You are a big
So we're having sort of little interchanges of English conversation, and many of the girls are comfortable doing that now. So that's been a tremendous pleasure. Why is it good to be in the Asa school?
Our life now is so good because we are educated. We know what we are doing. We are not like people lifestyle. What I like to be in Asa school, I like to be educated.
And why do you like to be educated?
If I am not educated, my parents can force me to be married. But now I am sad.
Deb, I know as we come out of the clip, you're trying to teach them English as we see there. Why is that important?
Well, English is the national language. South Sudan is a former British colony, and so English was spoken by the British when they first came there. It's when the South separated from the North, when they became the world's newest nation in 2011. The North had been trying to impose Arabic upon the South and Sharia law, and the South objected to that. It's primarily a Christian country. Also, some tribes still follow animistic ancient religions and so on. But English is what's taught in school, and they don't come to school speaking English. You know, there's many different tribal languages that are spoken in the country, so English gives them a common language for commerce and for talking with other people.
Now, the program, as we look at it, is really relatively young, I guess, as programs go. But once the young ladies are educated, what is their future like?
Well, it's hard to say because this is the world's newest nation, and because, you know, in our village, for example, except for our matron, who is educated, and some midwives or staff that work at the clinic, they're the only girls they're the only our matron, the only literate people in the village of girls, of women. And so there's been not an objection to educating women, but there's no history of educating women. And so there's been also people have lived traditional tribal lives where they keep cattle, they raise families, they grow some agriculture and so on. But South Sudan has now been exposed to, first of all, the vulnerability of not having education and not knowing how to take care of problems, not having access to medical care and various other things, and they want something different. And the only way to achieve that is by educating all people, but women in particular. So what will be available for them? I think as in any place that begins to develop, you know, jobs become available, educated people return to their homes, and they want things that they've seen other places. They now have skills. Maybe they can sew. They can earn some money making clothing for people. Our girls are learning gardening. We're starting a small nursery. So they would have fruit that they could sell. You know, so those are on just the most basic level. But in addition to that, they could be teachers. They could be politicians. They could be future leaders. They might be pastors. You know, our girls all have dreams. One wants to be a pilot. So they've seen, you know, these things. One of the church women said to me a few years ago, she said, when we were young, we didn't know it was important to educate girls, but now we have met educated women and we see what a difference it makes. We want this for our daughters.
Well, with that said, because you're talking about being at home, and is it a situation maybe where it'd be better off if they left South Sudan, or can they make a home there?
Whenever I've asked, in fact, recently on my last visit in June, I talked to some of our staff and asked, why did you return here? This very undeveloped part of South Sudan. Why not one of the cities or whatever? And they said, because this is where our ancestors are from. Why do people live in Fargo? My ancestors are from here. I have ancestors, 2 sets of great-grandparents buried in western North Dakota. So why do people return to these places or stay these places? It's because you have a history here and because you want to see it develop. And so, of course, people came here and lived in sod huts, and that's not the case anymore.
Well, okay, with the government, with families, have you gotten any flack from the government there, or from families, especially fathers, maybe, if fathers are involved?
We've had tremendous support from both the local government in our community, our state. We're a registered NGO, non-governmental organization in South Sudan. We are registered as a CBO in the state. We work with the local commissioner and so on. And the local commissioner was very adamant that he wanted to see us bring girls from other villages, so not just one village benefited. So we're trying to benefit the entire county, that some have representatives that are in our school. Fathers, the agreement we have with guardians, because all of our children have neither living father or mother, but they live with maybe a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle, is that they will leave the child in the school until her education is complete, until she can't go any further in her education. And they've all agreed to that. And the chiefs have said, if you withdraw your child from school, you will have to repay ASA for the education, because they have invested in this girl and in the future of our community. So it's for us all. So we have not had any only support, support.
Well, I guess my question, too, comes back from, you talked about the culture of the value of a young lady, and I'm not trying to downplay it or mean anything disrespectful about this, but the value of a young child was bringing cattle into the family. So there's been, but these are orphan girls, too. So, so maybe
it's the same. If you're an orphan, you're another mouth to feed. So if some income can come into the family by, through cattle dowry. There's an old gentleman, Gideon, in the village who's in his 90s, and of course he's seen everything. And he said that wasn't the practice years ago, to marry girls off at 14 or 15. They were 20, 21, they were mature girls. Of course, they're less likely to die in childbirth and they need to be groomed by their families. It's the extreme poverty that has driven people to this point. And so what our guardians see is that if these girls get educated, they will one day be able to provide help to their families. So they see it as an investment in the future. So they're delaying, just like we all have to do, delay that short-term gain for something that's more long-lasting.
Do you think the United States has done enough in this region of the country?
The United States was instrumental in negotiating the peace agreement between the North and the South. And then they have really just let it lay. And billions of dollars have poured into that country, and that has gone into the wrong thing, not developing roads, schools, hospitals. There's some short-term development of oil that's continued to flow. But what about some guidance, some additional help in showing how the money best be used, or have some ties to the results, as opposed to simply sending the money there. This is a country that has no history of governing itself. The leaders are guerrilla fighters. They know how to do that. They know how to handle things militarily, but they don't have a history of knowing how to negotiate, how to handle commerce, and so on. So, I don't know. I don't work at that level, so I can't presume to say exactly how it should be done. But truly, it would be terrible to let this new nation just evolve into chaos.
How many trips have you made, I guess? But my question really is it dangerous? Do you feel uncomfortable when you're in the region, or is it dangerous for you to travel there?
I've been there 9 times. I've spent, countless months there, a couple months a year, sometimes more than that, over the last 3 years. There have been threats when I've been there, primarily from, actually different tribes than are fighting right now, but some cattle rustlers and so on that have been, that are armed and steal cattle. So primarily the danger is for people that are out in the open, with their cattle, having their cattle be stolen and, being killed in the process. I've never personally felt unsafe. I know my staff would go out of their way to protect me if that would become necessary, but no, I don't feel unsafe when I'm there.
Well, do you feel like you're making progress with the girls?
Oh, I know we're making progress. Our girls, our mission is protect, educate, empower. So we protect them from forced marriage. We also protect them from, for instance, providing vaccinations to things that aren't available typically there, like hepatitis B, which is a tremendous problem in South Sudan. About 30% of people are positive for Hep B. And right now we're looking at protecting them should something happen in our area that requires them to flee, that our staff would find them, and we'd find a way to deliver services to them wherever they go. But protect, educate in school subjects and practical life skills, and empower them to be leaders and give back. And in terms of leadership, the girls do the distribution of the underwear to other girls. Our girls have been asked to speak in church ceremonies. They've been asked to speak when the governor came to the town. They are looked at as role models, and more girls have enrolled in the local school based on their example. They've gone to their parents and said, these orphan girls are going to school. Why can't we go to school? And so this kind of peer pressure that this is, and our girls go to school clean. Their clothes are clean, their bodies are washed, and so they stand out in the local village.
Well, maybe you're telling us, can you talk to our audience about how things we take for granted that are not common there?
Well, of course, clean running water. That's our cooks. We've just built a kitchen and dining compound, so our cooks will have running water to wash dishes instead of hauling it in a wheelbarrow and a bucket. We have electricity. The only other place in the village that has electricity is the clinic. We have solar power that we just installed. So we have 2 flush toilets, and you'd have to drive 100 miles to find a flush toilet. So.
A lot of things that we probably take for granted. I'm sorry we're out of time, so if people want to get involved, maybe contribute or find out more, what's the best place?
Well, ASAH, A-S-A-H, in Sudan.org is our website, or just search African Soul American Heart, you'll find us. We're on Facebook. You can call me. Our contact information is there as well.
All right. Deb, thanks so much.
Oh, thank you, John.
Stay tuned for more. In 1946, Jay Hormel founded the Hormel Girls to create jobs for women veterans of World War II and to promote Hormel products like Spam and Dinty Moore. The glamorous groups of musicians and singers grew to include 60 members and was a top-rated show on 3 national radio networks. The Hormel Girls are a true treasure of Minnesota history and an early symbol of the independent woman.
I left the war with a pink slip in my hand. It was back to the kitchen till Hormel gave me a chance. He said, military ladies, come and drum for me. Military ladies, find out what we can be. We were a 60 service girl drum and bugle corps. J.C. Hormel thought we could do some more. The drummers learned to dance, then the new girls tried out, and he gave them a chance. He said, you can perform and sell door to door. So during the day we'd go store to store saying, hey ho, how do you like it? Hey ho, you gotta try it. Spam and Dinty Moore, delicious canned meat galore. We got chili con carne, gonna twist your arm. So tonight, come out and give it a go. The Hormel Girls Caravan Orchestra Show. 35 cars, wide attention catching. We drive up in pairs, our dresses all matching. Comportment and style, 60 hours a week. Dance instructors keeping track of everything we eat. No 10 lines can be seen. It's a small price to pay to live a service girl's dream, yeah. Hey ho, we're the Hormel Girls. Hey ho, we're here to sing Spam and Dinty Moore. Delicious canned meat galore. We'll take our show to the radio. So tonight, turn it on and give it a go. The Hormel Girls Caravan Orchestra Show. We broadcast on CBS from Hollywood and Vine. Our scripts are written for us. We plug every Hormel line. 5 commercial breaks will tell you what you need to know about every Hormel product. You'll hear it on our show. girls would be showing on a Saturday night. Then we'd be sailing before every flight, driving 2x2 with a plastic bag full of dummy cans. Sell the Hormel brand, Mr. Manager, how your products moving? Tickets to our show should see sales improving, yeah. Hey ho, how do you like it? Hey ho, we're here to sing Spam and Dinty Mar. Delicious canned meat galore. We got chili con carne, gonna twist your arm. So tonight, come out and give it a go. The Hormel Girls Caravan Orchestra Show. Tonight, come out, give it a go. The Hormel Girls Caravan Orchestra Show.
Well, that's all we have on Prairie Pulse for this week. And as always, thanks for watching.
Funding for Minnesota Legacy programs are provided by a grant from the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund, with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008, and by the members of Prairie Public.